Alright guys, here we go. You're now live. One more time. You guys see it? Okay guys, thank you for the musical interlude. Just saying a big welcome again to Nikhil and Hermit from Submerge. Thank you for being here today. Just to do a little intro, can you guys, once you're done playing music, tell us a little bit about Submerge. What is Submerge all about?
Submerge is actually a bakery. It's we bake biscuits and we occasionally do wedding cakes, amazing pastries, pineapple pastries, and we throw the odd underground dance music party. But we're actually a bakery. Brown bread, the best in the world. We have no idea how to make it. But we intend
amazing you guys are in such good shape, considering all of that.
All the brown bread!
We work with our power.
So the first thing I have to say is everyone who's watching this live can now hashtag MissMalini Hangout and also hashtag Ask Nikhil or hashtag Ask Hermit and send in questions. We've got a whole bunch of questions that I have printed out old school for you. But tell me about this AVB gig that's coming up. Huge DJ to get. How did you guys pull that off and what's exciting and lined up for us?
Well, we've had a great relationship with Armin van Buren and his management since Submerge brought him down to India for the first time. I think it was in 2008 or 2009. And we did a series of club events. And Armin's he's a great DJ. One of the events that we did in Delhi was in a room that had 150 people. It was one of the smallest venues that he played. And at that point in time, he was the #1 DJ in the world as well. And he had so much of fun. And at that point in time, he said, look, it's not about the size of the gig. I want to come in and try and work within a territory to try and grow the scene there one step at a time, which is why it's amazing to bring him back now to India to do a State of Trance episode 600, which is the biggest thing happening across the planet right now. I think they're doing something like 12 or 15 gigs across the planet. And we're really lucky to get Mumbai as one of the dates because he's doing Malaysia on Friday and he was confirmed to do Miami on Sunday. So he's coming in. He could have gone directly from Malaysia to Miami, which would make sense. But he's coming into Bombay for literally 4 or 5 hours because I think he's a huge fan of India as well. And he really loves the scene and the fans over here in India. So 4 hours in India, back onto a plane, flying halfway across the world to Miami to play his next gig on Sunday. It's going to be amazing. For us.
That is incredible.
He's going to be jet lagged.
So, of course, everyone who's tweeting in, they're big fans, and they're so excited that you guys are doing this live hangout and that you always bring these amazing DJs over. We have a whole bunch of questions for them as well. But we're going to start off a little contest here where you can win yourself Submerge Says Dance t-shirt, right, guys?
Yes, that's right.
All they have to do is tweet in with a question. They just have to ask you or Hermit the question, very simple, with the hashtag MissMalini Hangout, hashtag Ask Hermit, or Ask Nikhil. But I'm going to ask you a couple questions that already came in earlier on. This is a really good one. This is Santosh SNK who says, ask Nikhil, how many hours of sleep do you get a day and how do you look so energetic all the time?
Well, the secret actually is coffee. That's how it all works. I'm from Kurg. It's where we grow a lot of coffee. I think it's in my genes. Sleep is something that's a little bit dodgy for me. My sleeping patterns are completely out of whack. I tend to catch up on a lot of sleep when I'm on flights. Hermit doesn't get to spend enough time with his dog, so he and his dog sleep together. Yeah, whatever time they can get. If you follow Hermit on Facebook or on Twitter or on Path, you'll see that he always has pictures with his dogs, and they're all kind of sleeping all the time. All over me.
Sounds like a very beautiful picture.
This business, sleep is an optional thing.
So another question that's come in for you, Pink Fraud, which is actually a guy's Twitter handle, believe it or not, is where is the next step for EDM in India? You're the right people to ask about this. Are there going to be more club gigs or big-scale festivals because you've sort of got the market, you know, you do these amazing things with Sunburn as well. Are there going to be more big festivals, and what's the future for EDM? Look into the future for us.
Well, the answer to that is actually very complex, but I'll try and break it down very simply. With festivals like Sunburn, NH7, with what we're doing at Submerge with One Big Weekend, we're just at the tip of the iceberg. We've barely scratched the tip of the iceberg. So we are going to see a lot more festivals, but in about 3 years' time, I'll explain it to you more simply. We had a lot of Swedish House Mafia fans this year who are 14 and 15 years old. In 5 years' time, all those fans will be going out clubbing. You are going to need more venues. So the future is going to be more clubs and more venues. It is going to be more festivals. And I do believe that we'll see a wide range of festivals, not just electronic music, but also rock festivals, alternative festivals. I'd love to see some Indian folk music festivals as well. There's a few that happen in the north, near West Bengal and Orissa, that I've heard of. And it'd be great to see all of that part of the mainstream.
Absolutely. I know that's exciting stuff. And of course, we got a message in from Jonathan who says, why don't you have Submerge in Cochin? And can you please come back and do more gigs there?
Well, we're trying to put together a bikini festival in Cochin. Just joking. But that would be a great idea, wouldn't it? Well, what's really important, and Hermit will vouch for this because he does most of our partnerships, we need to have really strong partners when we work with any territory.
We actually used to do stuff in Cochin. There was really there's this promoter there who was really excited, and actually promoters and clubs need play a very important role within this whole thing because they love the music themselves, exactly what we do. So they want, in the same way how we want to bring all these guys down to India, they want to get all, obviously, the Indian guys and the international guys down to Cochin. So it plays a very important role about how you in your city excited you are, and talk to the clubs and get them more involved within the scene.
Well, it's very simple. If you want us to come to a club in your city, send Submerge an email. It's a very easy email, info@submerge.in. And it's not just with clubs. I'd love to get into more colleges this year. I'd love to go back to school. So if you have a college festival that you want Submerge to come out, we just did a fantastic event at the MissMalini campus in Hyderabad last Sunday. So if you want Submerge to come to your college, if you want me to come to your college and play some music, we're very happy to do that.
That's exciting stuff. I'm excited to hear that. In case you've just tuned into this live Google Plus Hangout, you're watching MissMalini.com, and we actually have a whole bunch of questions in with Nikhil and Hermit. And you can win yourself some Submerge Says Dance t-shirts. All you have to do is hashtag MissMalini Hangout and ask Nikhil, hashtag ask Nikhil or ask Hermit. I have another great question for you guys. So there's a question in about how did Submerge actually start? And do you have any like fun stories from when it began, or things that you haven't told anyone that you're going to tell us for the first time ever now?
Well, I have my favorite story of the early days of Submerge involves Hermit, and it's something that I can't repeat. So, which one of those?
That's a great story, guys. Thanks.
There's a story where I'm DJing and Hermit comes up to me and says, "I'm going home now, bro."
No more details. No more details.
So, because we kind of ran the thing together, so he's like, "You'll manage or what?" It's about 3 o'clock in the morning and I'm DJing, and I'm like, "Yeah, I think everything's running fine. I'll manage." Like, why? Why are you going home? And now we'll cut to commercial.
Yeah. Now, one of the really, basically me and Nikhil, I used to do Nikhil's clothes at MTV. So every morning I had to pick him up from his home in Bandra and we should drive towards the MTV studio.
You were a stylist?
Yes, I still am a stylist, and I do lots of clothes for lots of
We
celebrities.
didn't know that.
Yeah.
Interesting. So do you still pick everything you wear?
Yeah. Imran Khan, who's right behind, I've done 3 films for Imran Khan, his clothes. So anyway, getting back to Submerge. So driving to MTV office, obviously no time to eat breakfast. We've been partying the last night. I always used to get bacon and ham sandwiches driving my Maruti Zen all the way to work. So he's like, "Okay, bro, let's do a night." So where? "Oh, our friends have a club. Pearl will play, I'll be cool. I'll host it. You call your friend, jump around, and you can be the brand manager of Submerge." And I'm talking 10 years back. I mean, we hardly knew what brand managers were 10 years back. And I'm like, "Brand manager? What does that mean?" "Bro, just be cool. That's it." That's one of the funny stories from Submerge.
That is exactly how Submerge started.
That's incredible.
"What's the brand manager?" I'm like, "Dude, just be cool. It'll be okay."
Yes.
And then Hermit goes, "We're gonna do this together, right?" I'm like, "Yeah, we're gonna do this together." He says, "Fuck it, let's do it."
That's it. So you guys, I mean, one thing everyone's always noticed that you guys have really good energy. You're always happy. You're all about having a good time, like your crazy hat party. Have you ever had a big fight, and how did you get over it? Or what's your secret to not fighting? 10 years working together is a really long time.
Well, fortunately, Hermit and I have different tastes in underwear, so we've never actually had a reason to fight.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm colorful. He's white and black always.
Exactly. So there's never been a problem. It's a great symbiotic relationship.
That's amazing.
This is true. I'm not joking. He does wear colorful underwear. Show it. Show it.
I actually remember writing your scripts for you and the red teddy joke.
Hermit socks. Hermit socks, always colorful.
That's one thing you'll notice about me always. I'm always wearing colorful
And look at my socks.
See, like great. Boring guy. Boring guy.
But doesn't he pick your socks for you? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, but he picks it based on my style and my taste in clothes. And
That makes sense. So we got another question, and this one is from Coles9, who says, do you guys get goosebumps when you meet like these amazing superstar DJs that you're big fans of, and when you're booking them, are you able to control your sort of idol worship at that point?
The interesting thing, last year we were in AD, Amsterdam Dance Events, and me and Nikhil would walk into the conference area, and Hermit Van Buren walking from ahead. We met him before, he knows both of us. And it's so cool, think, there are my Indian boys, when am I going to see you next in India? I mean, it's so cool because we meet all these guys, we love them, they love what we do here. So for us, it's never like, oh my God, it's always like a really friendly kind of feeling to meet them.
I'll put it to you very simply, and this is going to sound like really staid and boring, but this is the truth. The music is many times greater than the artist who's made it. Okay? And I'll explain this to you with an example as well. 2 years ago, I brought BT down to India to play for the first time. BT is an artist who did a song in 1996 called Flaming June. And Flaming June was a song that when we heard in Bangalore for the first time, we were all like, oh my God, what is this music? It's amazing. To hear BT play Flaming June in Bombay at the Blue Frog, that gave me goosebumps. Meeting BT, he's a nice guy. He loves scuba diving as well. I love him as a person. But that wasn't as big as hearing him play Flaming June at Blue Frog. That, even now, gives me goosebumps when I think about it.
That's amazing. That's so interesting. And remember, you guys can send in your questions. This is a live broadcast on Google+. Just hashtag MissMalini Hangout, and you can hashtag Ask Nikhil and Ask Hermit. And we have another question coming in. This is from Neha Pardesi, who says, Nikhil, what do you think about Indian artists in the underground scene? Are you planning anything with them? Do you think they're there yet?
The answer is yes. They are there yet. We've got some fantastic talent. There's Praveen Achari out of Bangalore. There's Kora, Arjun Vagle, both based out of Delhi. Ash Roy has just started his own record label called Superclub Records, which I think is an amazing name. And we've got a lot of producers that are making music right now. Audio Units from Bangalore as well is doing some great work. Lost Stories. I've just heard some of the material that they've come out with. They're nowhere near underground, but Lost Stories is going to be a force to reckon with by the end of 2014. And I don't just mean in India. Yes. The Indian artists are getting there to a large part. They have arrived. But sadly, India is just geographically in a really bad place on the planet. See all the actions happening in Europe and America, and we're 8 hours away from Europe, and we're 12 and a half hours away from America. So for us to see more, and with dance music, influences are a very important part of the entire equation. So if you're not able to hear other DJs, get introduced to different styles of producing or hear different genres of music, your inspirations are limited. And when that happens, you're going to take a lot longer to get to where you want to be than if you were, let's say, living in Prague or in Berlin or in Amsterdam.
Makes sense. Makes a lot of sense. Actually, I have a question in from Team MissMalini. We want to know who's the one artist that you haven't been able to get here yet? And that would be like the ultimate achievement if you bring that artist down.
Not saying.
Not saying?
Not saying.
Not saying. You want to upset
saying. Not saying. That's because I'm working on it. I'm a little bit superstitious, and I hate talking about stuff till contracts are signed. We're actually right now, Submerge is in negotiation with artists right through May and June. We're doing a couple of gigs in September, and we're also talking about November and December already. So we're trying to stay ahead of the curve. There are a few artists that I would love to see in India who nobody knows of, but they're making beautiful music, fantastic music. So till we actually have a deal in place,
we want to hear Coldplay too. We want to hear them. I said we want to hear them.
Not attempting to get into the live music space, at least not for now.
So we also have a bunch of questions in about about the nights. I'm going to ask you 2 questions, and you can answer them in order or in different order. So Parul Batra wants to know, what is your take on the whole midnight lockdown on DJ music in Delhi? And there's another one, a question from Electro Hyderabad, and this question is a bit confusing. See if you can figure it out. And this is for both of you. India being an alcohol-driven party sort of nation, how come Ahmedabad is preferred over Hyderabad by Submerge? I don't know if this is true or not, but how would you answer that?
we actually, I haven't been to Ahmedabad. When was the last time I went to Ahmedabad?
1 month.
We did, yeah. We did. There was a sandstorm festival outside Ahmedabad that we did, but I've just been in Hyderabad last Sunday at the BITS Pilani campus, I'm going back to a bar called Sky on the 23rd of this month. So I'm quite sure. What do you mean? I grew up in Sikandrabad. I lived in Sikandrabad for 3 years, from the 2nd standard to the 4th standard. So I have no preference for one city over the other, unless, of course, it's Bangalore. And to answer the other question about Delhi and about the shutdown, I would love to see longer hours for clubs, because I believe that as a nation, as a young nation, we work really hard. Indians across the world have tended to do well wherever they've moved to because they work very hard. And it would be great to see governments and society allowing us to just let our hair down over the weekend. So even if you say, like, you can party a little later on a Friday and Saturday, that would be a great place to start. So
even as a DJ, obviously playing for an hour and a half, 2 hours is not enough. You know, you need to like do a good long 2.5, 3 hours set. I know earlier in the days, and even sometimes now, Ma Faiza, when we used to do a sundown session in Juhu, she said, I said, so who do you want to like warm up for you? No one. I will play a 6-hour set. So she started playing at 4 o'clock and she finished playing at 10 o'clock. I mean, it's a whole journey of music completely, but you can never do this. I mean, who's going to come to clubs at 7 o'clock in the evening and leave at 1? No one's going to come there.
I mean, some of the most beautiful sets that I've done have also been 5-hour, 4.5-hour long sets. But it's also very, very important to work along with the local authorities. We've had meetings with the local police over here in Mumbai to help us plan the Armin van Buuren event this weekend. And of course, they have concerns because they speak to residents, they speak to people who sometimes get disturbed by the influx of a lot of people coming into one particular part of the city. So it's very important to work alongside local authorities so that we're all on the same page, because eventually, of course, we do love entertainment and we want to see more events and more parties happening, but not at the cost of inconveniencing somebody else.
Absolutely. And we have this amazing long email that came in from the guys called Trance in Delhi on Twitter. They said, hi, MissMalini, we're currently unable to tune into Google with the Hangout because we're traveling, but we would love if you could answer, have Nikhil and Hermit answer a couple of our questions. And they have a couple of fun questions. They're like, one is that when Nikhil and Hermit started Submerge, they had envisioned something like becoming India's biggest promoters in the next 5 years, and did they just keep on working steadily and scaled up the operation step by step, or did it just all happen on its own? And then the other question is, you both have to travel so much, and both of you are married men. How do you balance your personal and professional lives? Any tips for budding entrepreneurs not to get in the doghouse with the wife?
You take that.
The first one or the second one?
So we'll start with the first one.
The first one. Okay. Pearl's not here, but yeah, Submerge is Hermit, Nikhil, and Pearl. She's not here right now because obviously it's a small screen. We can't take 3 faces over here. That'd be really funny. Yeah, but
when we started off, we did not want to be India's biggest promoters. We had no idea where we were going to be in 2 years' time, let alone 10 years' time. We started off because it was like, man, I cannot listen to Kalioka Chaman at another club. So please, let's do a night where we know that song will not get played. We will play the music that we love. And that's how we started off. We started off by doing fun stuff. And
that was our tagline. Submerge was born out of frustration.
Like, seriously.
It was. At that point in time, wherever you go, it's just like those 2 or 3 tracks that you hear every single night and on repeat mode and 5 times a night.
Do you remember Mambo number 5?
Yeah.
It's fun now to think about it, but try going to a club and listening to it 5 times in a night.
It's like how they play Tu Mera Hero Hai at every Sangeet 5 times a night. That's how it is.
Absolutely.
So that's how we started off, and then I think the crowd that we were getting, the audience we were getting, the DJs who were playing, it started to become this movement, and it was never intended to be a movement. And then we started doing these parties at Zanzibar, which is a shack that's owned by a friend of ours in Goa. And Zanzibar became the blueprint for what eventually would be Sunburn. We started off doing like a little beach festival, programming DJs over 3 days, having people dancing with their toes in the sand. And then when Persep came to me and said, let's do a music festival, jumped at the idea, and then we put together all the concept for Sunburn. And I just said this recently in an interview. Sunburn is going to be the blueprint that we're going to use to take over governments and society and our local ice cream parlor with dance music.
Awesome. So now you can answer the question on how you balance your relationships. And I have an add-on question to that's come in, Nikhil, which is amazing.
Oh yeah, balancing relationships.
Women's Day just went by.
I work out of the house most of the time, and his wife is one of our main party people as well. So we tend to do a lot of our stuff together, hanging out at the same places.
No, we do. It does get difficult sometimes, obviously, because you're working from morning to night, and then you come back home, you literally change, and you leave back out for an event of yours. So yeah, it does get difficult, but it's amazing because sometimes you can take a partying, and she came to Amsterdam with me last year, so we're like, oh, you know what? Come on, let's go together, let's party together, and it's great. That's a good thing.
However, the dogs are upset. I have this first-hand report from the puppy.
I think
not happy.
I think she has asked you a question on Twitter, and she wants you to ask me that question, which you're not going to do.
We got another question in from Swapnil for you, Nikhil. Did you have Pearl perform all your sets on Women's Day and then take all her money? Hashtag spouse wars?
The answer is no, because I don't think, was I doing anything on Women's Day? Pearl's music and my music is very, very different. And although I keep trying to peek into her record collection to try and figure out what she's doing, it's one of those cases where you can steal plutonium from a nuclear physicist, but you have no idea what to do with it. Her music is really evolved and superbly put together. Even if I had an entire record collection, I wouldn't know what to do with it. So her style of music and my style of music is very different. I'm a lot more kamikaze. I'll go and play whatever I feel like, which is why some of my sets tend to be quite erratic, but the idea is to have a good time.
And the good thing is that I'm not a DJ, so there's no problem over here in the threesome of us.
So we actually, so we're still running that contest. Remember, you can hashtag MissMalini Hangout, hashtag Ask Nikhil, hashtag Ask Hermit, and send in questions, and you could win a Submerge Says Dance t-shirt. We actually have a couple of questions in from a bunch of different people. PWN wants to know, are you guys going to open that Superclub, Submerge the Club? When is that happening? Because everybody's waiting.
No.
Why not?
We are not going to open Submerge the Club right now because the environment in India, in order to run a business in India, is extraordinarily complex. And I'm quite happy to partner with somebody else who's going to open a club, but I would never open a club myself because we work with clubs all the time. And local knowledge and friends within the system, if you know what I mean, are so important. And we're just two guys who love doing music. So we don't have the right connections. We don't know the right people.
So even if, frankly, to say, even if we do, the thing is that there is the business angle and there's the love for the music angle. We obviously need to run the business, to run the company, but at the same time, we don't want the business to take over the love for the music. Most important, yeah, we can open 10 clubs, but then I'll be only sending mails, only in cops police station, taking care of permission, only licensing issues, only trying to get sponsorship, and then you will not have any DJs. So what do you prefer?
It's true. Good point. And of course, there's a whole bunch of people who are very excited that you're doing this live hangout. And then, of course, you have Armin van Buuren coming in. What is your strategy for the next couple of years? What are the big artists that we're going to see? Anyone that we should be looking forward to? Come on, give us the hints. Give us a sneak.
Well, what I can say is that, unfortunately, many of us will be quite broke by the end of the year. Because we have a lot of DJs coming in, and you're going to want to go to all those gigs because I know who I'm bringing in. So start saving, please, because you will need it. And this weekend with Armin van Buuren as well, we're actually starting the party quite early at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. We've got a bunch of people who bought early entry tickets because these are real fans of the Armada sound and the Armin van Buuren sound. And they're going to come in earlier to support the early acts as well. We've got some fantastic DJs starting off with Vinayaka and Sanjay Datta from India. Then we've got Arne from Canada. There's Rank 1 from Amsterdam. Shogun, who's coming down to India for the first time, who's an American DJ and producer who's amazing. Ali and Fila, who've got a huge fan following over here in India. And then finally, Armin van Buuren. So whatever you do, don't come in late because I would feel bad for you. If you've bought a ticket, come and experience the entire experience. Don't just come and snack in and say, oh, I want to hear Armin van Buuren play that one song, In and Out of Love. And I'm going to stand there and go, yay, and capture it on my cell phone. Don't do that to yourself because this event is going to be spectacular. Get your money's worth.
Absolutely. And just before we go, we're excited to say we actually have the t-shirts have arrived, so you can show everyone what you're going to be giving out. All you have to do is tweet in a question or tell us what you thought of the hangout. You can hashtag MissMalini Hangout, hashtag Ask Hermit, hashtag Ask Nikhil. You know the Twitter handles, of course, at Submerge Music. And you know they're both on Twitter as well. Submerge says dance. Okay, now you guys have to tell us what are the 3 songs that you guys are loving right now, that you are absolutely loving right now.
Call me maybe.
I'm gonna beat him up. I'm really gonna beat him up. Okay, there's a couple of them. There's a song called "Missing" by an artist called Ritney. I think it's "Missing You." It just got sent to me last week, and it's a really cool groovy track. There's a track by Reva Starr called "Absence," which actually has a sample, a little vocal sample of Asha Bhosle. There's a little female vocal in there which you can clearly identify, which is quite nice. And there's a 16-minute long piece of music without a kick drum, without that bass drum, by Luciano called "Rise of Angel." So I think these 3 are my current favorites.
Awesome. Hermit, do you agree with those 3, or do you have another selection?
Hermit has no idea what I'm talking about.
I don't really. Sometimes I don't, because I'm just like, he's the kind of guy who listens to music and work, and I'm the kind of guy who just listens to, like, I have my phone in my hand, and I'm like, yeah, okay, bro, cool, I'll send you a mail about it, and I'm like that. So it doesn't work sometimes for me. He's more of the music person, I'm more of the emailing and like on the phone person. And yes, I do listen to music when I go to the gigs, actually. That time I'm not working, I'm just pure partying.
But I can tell you that one of Hermit's favorite artists is an artist called Shpongle. He's been a Shpongle fan for many years now.
Yeah.
Nice. We got another final request from Kunal Bambwale, who wants to know if you can do a live Harlem Shake for us, please.
We can. Can your office join us? Because 2 people is really weird. Should we do it? Can I turn the laptop around? Because
here's what we'll do. We'll do the Harlem Shake video and put it up after the live hangout.
Harlem Shake video?
Edit it nicely.
Have you seen our video, the one we did in our office?
No. Okay, you know what we're going to do? We're going to do the Harlem Shake for you, Kunal. We're going to record it, and then we're going to put up a whole blog post with the Submerge Harlem Shake and the MissMalini Harlem Shake. And you can watch them both and tell us how awesome they are.
We love to do a versus also, MissMalini versus Submerge Harlem Shake.
It'll be like a Harlem Shake dance song.
Because we're live on YouTube right now, I could do like a striptease. I could start to take my clothes off. Does that work?
I'm going to have to make this a PG-13 hangout then, which could be a problem. Awesome, guys. Thank you so much for doing this. It was so much fun. It was our first super geek chic live Google Hangout. Hopefully the next one we'll do from one of your gigs somewhere around India or around the world. Any last words for all your fans?
This is the first time I've done this, and I think it's been a lot of fun, and it would be great to do this at the Armin van Buuren gig on Saturday, but I don't think we're going to have enough time to set that up. But I like your idea of doing this live from a Submerge gig, so we're definitely going to plan that. And for those of you who are going to be there for a State of Trance 600 in Mumbai on Saturday, I will see you then. And by the way, we've got a great pre-party at the Jack and Jones store tomorrow. So if you feel like coming in, it's an invite-only thing. If you want to come, just send an email out to
guestlist@submerge.in.
Guestlist@submerge.in. We'll be happy to put you on the guest list. And I do believe that the first round of drinks are on Submerge.
Wow. I shall be there.
Maybe the second round as well.
Yes.
And the third.
Thank you so much, guys. And we're going to put this whole video up on our Harlem Shake as well. Thank you so much for doing this, and cannot wait for the Armin van Buuren gig. Bye.
Okay, bye.
See you. Bye. We're still on air. We're still on air.